Hey there! Oh, wrong thing. Hey there! I'm Cyberchroma. I'm back. Okay, fix things. Did like one last ditch effort of like, wait, this might fix it, and internet is back. Internet is good. Okay. Cool. Is it? Well, I guess I don't want to speak too soon, but everything's in the green. I'll explain what I did in a second, but just for seeing that we're in the green. Yes. All right. I guess I'll start you back up. Haha! Let's cancel the stream? I'd given up hope. But no, we're good. And because I knew, like before I was like, oh, it's a mystery, I hope it fixes itself. Because it has now, because I know what I did, it should be good. Okay, I was worried there, because like, just like in a game, we have a mystery bug, like, it's like, it fixes itself, like, who knows, till it pops up again. Okay. Watch you dropped like a couple frames, but you're like bajillion times more stable than you were before. So we're gonna go with it. Tiny little bit of frame drops here and there is totally fine. Just not like the entire stream completely just breaking and not doing. Okay, so because just to speak for the future, for the archives, I'm not gonna put the other VODs on because like on the VOD channel because no reason to, but this I will. So we'll start from scratch as if this was the first stream and that basically for the last like 20 minutes just internet just chopping out and not being good in over here in infinite OBS land, what I'm seeing of OBS. Basically, this green, good. This red or orange or yellow, bad. This number should be around 6,000, higher is good. Yeah, actually, I can't quite, can I just want, hold on, I'm going to do this real quick. Haha, you get full of my face temporarily. I just want to, if I want to explain my internet woes without doxing myself, hold on, or like giving IP addresses or anything like that. We're just going to do a little bit of wah, and you're just seeing my face, not, yep. Don't mind me as I mock up something in Paint. I could try to explain what with words, but I'm going to not. Yeah, hold on. Don't mind me as I just do stuff off screen real quickly. Nah, not you. Hold on. I'm literally just taking a screenshot of something and then blocking out, putting black boxes in Paint. Un momento. Why do I not, okay, now just, how do I make black boxes in Paint? It's not, oh, there you are. Fill. I have a solid color fill, and whoa! It's probably overkill and doesn't matter, but it's fine. It's fine, as long as I don't hit Control-Z. Ha! I'm sure this doesn't matter, but might as well be extra safe. Basically, so when you have your Wi-Fi stuff, my household has like 3 Wi-Fi things, and I was just connected to the wrong one. Connected, like, yeah, which actually I don't know fully why. I don't understand enough of networking things to know why one was like slow. But basically, I don't even remember the right terminology. I have one router, but it has like 3 thingies, and 214 and 5G. But even the other one that I connected to, I'm pretty sure, I'm definitely probably mistaken, but I believe we have them said that they are all the same strength. It's just like, because I have roommates, so we're each on a different one, but like, whatever, just, and it like auto-connected, like, so it was like connected to this, but auto-connected to the other one, because whatever, disconnected to the other one, connected to the one it should be on, and then, yeah, all is good, whatever, it's fine, so, but because I know what happened, it should be, like, yeah, like, a mystery bug, like, programming stuff is, not good, because then it could, crop up again at any time. But now, because I fixed it, should hopefully not happen again. And if it does, then I'll know what to do about it. So good that I didn't. If I had just waited until tomorrow and then did stuff, then it likely would have just had the same issues. And, oh well, okay, good. So I'm sure that all the, stream notification stuff is being spammed. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, no, whatever. That's okay. And, like, the actual, like, I don't know how, like, if you're on Twitch and you get the Twitch notification of like, hey, I'm streaming or whatever, I don't know how that works and how that gets messed up. I know that I don't think that will have spammed out multiple notifications, because I think you can only spam out like 1 per day or whatever, but I don't know if it now doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I don't know how much it's going to tank the likelihood of people seeing this stream versus not at all, it now being buried or whatever. But oh well, it's fine. Who cares? Yeah. So I will. Doesn't spam for Twitch. Yeah, it only does it once per day. So like that's fine. But like, will it have done one at all? If it hadn't, because I only started the stream for like a couple minutes and then stopped it. If it hadn't put out a notification for that yet, like, will it not, or whatever? Basically, what I'm saying is, will any of my followers see this current stream that's like the fourth one today at all? I don't know. Who cares? It's whatever. It's fine. Anyways, so I'm gonna just like, for no reason other than I can, recap what the things I was rambling about before loosely, as if this is the first stream, because now you can actually see stuff. Before, like, I don't know how cutting out it was. I'm sure the video was very not good, and as you said, it was like cutting out like every like 10 seconds or so. So yeah, you can see stuff from scratch. But basically, we have a player. Woo! Player is improved. It's still a work in progress, but is a lot better than it was before. Now, like, the first thing that we're gonna do, because I would like to just I want to have a better comparison, just for fun, of the old player versus the new one. I want to just quickly set something up so I can somewhat easily switch between them, which should just be a matter of, like, just setting the camera pivot to follow the other one. However, there's, like, other stuff with, like, the player itself broke. So, like, this one isn't moving. Actually, I think I know why. And so I had 3 copies of players, and actually I don't want to. Yeah. No, wait. No, wait. Hold on. So we have the player down here that's like the current real player that'll eventually get back all the stuff that these guys have. This one has the old player lean code from before I messed with anything. Like, it has the duplicated script. So, but I don't actually know why then this one isn't moving. I can look into it in a second. And then this one is... Why do you have a mesh render on you? This is the one that has the... What do you have? This was meant to be the same as... these two were meant to be identical, but just this one has the visuals and this one, like, doesn't, I think. Something along those lines. But this isn't as necessary, because on this one I can just activate the object. But this one was moving, but, like, falling over immediately. I don't immediately know... I did mess with the actual... those. Okay, that would explain that. Okay, so mystery solve on that. This one I shouldn't need, but I'm not going to delete it. This is the old player that's not moving. I'll just, real quick... How can I get you to move again? I'm assuming... Actually, I don't have an immediate... knowing of why... My first guess... Why am I putting this on the other screen? My first guess is just that, like, I remember this has some stuff that I'll have to reset up with the so-called new player, because, like, the new one currently doesn't have any of, like, the turning that's entirely a visual thing, the wheels, the bobble, the moving with moving platforms. A lot of that's been stripped out. So I gotta bring that back. I'm just gonna bring the chair as I go down. So my first guess is, like, I believe this has some stuff set up so that, like, the player can be told to, like, override don't move, and this whole, like, get input thing, but I forget if you're on by default. You are. Did I break something on the rigid body? Yeah, like, in theory, this should be something, like, this is something that was supposed to never break. It was supposed to still be working, but I'm guessing I just broke something at some point. Oh, wait, am I an idiot? Hold on. Because I was using a controller. Yeah, the old player only works with WASD. the new one has controller stuff. That's why. Haha! Mystery solved. So it's not broken. Okay. And the other one, this one doesn't need to exist. I'm fine to delete it. Because you're the same. This one does still have all the player stuff. So if I wanted to, you know, bring back the visuals, not you, this guy, I just have to do this, and then this and this. Oh, I missed the the wheel. Hold on. Blah blah blah. You, and then you, and then camera pivot. Follow that one. So in theory. Yeah, if I want it to not have the collider stuff, then I can. And like now, ooh, it has the guy, but he doesn't have any of the turning or the bobbling. That like he'll eventually have. Also, the players don't collide with each other. That's a thing, but that's fine. However, like even though I can have this, I purposely don't want to for now. I want to, while I'm still messing with physicsy stuff, I want to basically just see the colliders of the thing and just focus on that for now. Get, like, the physical, how the thing moves around to be perfect and great, and then make the visuals part of it work. I should be, to some degree, this will be easier done if I, like, do this stuff one at a time, build, you know, one part of it, get it fully working, and then move on to the next thing, rather than having 15 things that are half done, that then fixing any one of them, there's this whole, like, bleh, mess of all the code that's, like, not fully functioning, and blah, blah, blah. So that's why with this one, I'm trying to be like, get working on flat ground to be like perfectly good, basically. Or like, at least like 99% there. At least just like closer to being fully functional than before. So, and then moving on to kind of the next bit, while trying to then not break the previous bit. Yeah. Anyways, so as a comparison, so actually, to make this a proper comparison, so like this player is cooler because he has the wheels and the turning and whatnot. So to make this a proper comparison of old movement versus new movement, I'm just gonna, I can turn off temporarily the turning, the bobbling, and that's basically it. I'm not gonna, like, bring I'm not gonna do the same thing with the other one with the way the colliders are. Okay, so this is the old player, as it were, which, like, it works, it's functional, it does the job. Oh, the wheels are spinning, that's funny, but ignore that. And the pedals are counter-spinning. Like, this does the job, and he actually does, he has things that aren't implemented on the other guy yet with the downhill and up, very slow uphill. And it's like, yeah. He moves, and he has the whole leaning thing. That was one thing that was very, like, that was a very tough pill to swallow. Oh yeah, he also does not, this one does not launch off ramp super well. This guy does not have a lot of momentum, which is, or not as much momentum as the other guy that's way over there. That one just moves a lot faster in general. Like, the fact that he's able to move a lot faster is also just more interesting, but, I wanted to be like, oh yeah, if you're having to dodge hazards, like, you can do that. Moving back and forth definitely ain't as snappy. That's, like, which to some degree, like, it's more realistic, but we aren't going for realism, we're going for fun. This doesn't quite do, yeah, see, glitchiness, like, that's not good. Oh, God. Okay, I wasn't finding new fun bugs. This is part of why these need to be redone. Improved. Like, the less wonky it is, the better, right? As much as funky physics can be fun, yeah, it still should, like, work. Like, there's a difference between, like, oh, that thing ragdolled and it was funny, and, like, I can't move the player because I'm stuck in a platform. There's a degree to which, like, wonky physics can be funny versus very much a problem. But anyway, so this was the old player, and, like, it works, it's good, and, like, there's nothing inherently super wrong with it. It's like, yeah, I could make a game with this and it's fine, but this other one is so much better now. Blah. Well, still being a work in progress. It's also not a true comparison because, like, this is still missing stuff that's still in progress. But, like, look at that speed. Moving down slopes is not fully, like, ignoring slopes, I guess, because, yeah. And the whole thing of this also works on controller now is also great. There's one thing with the camera, like, I mean, does this, which makes sense, but it probably shouldn't do this quite exactly like this. It should, like, small pillars like that shouldn't be included. Like, it should not zoom in for that, probably, but that's a whole separate thing. That's with the camera, not with the player. Anyways, Yeah, there is a temporary thing, because I just haven't gotten it functional yet, that I will eventually, is that currently you have no input in the air, because just the momentum just carries you. That I think is temporary. It's conceptually kind of cool to be like, you go fast and then you launch, ignoring that going down slopes isn't great. You do just go in that direction, but like, and you're more realistic or whatever. But I do think I want to do more with having it not be that way. Like, or to some degree, like, yeah, your momentum does carry you through the air, but you still being able to kind of course correct to some degree with the input. Right now, I just basically turn the input off, because it's just easier right now with that way. Because aerial movement in general, like, there's a bunch of other stuff with the aerial movement that I want to still mess with, but wanted to not worry about right now, to just focus on the ground movement. Get the just movement on the ground to be good and proper and whatnot. But I did conceptually figure out some stuff with like aerial movement that's going to, I think, solve some of my problems conceptually with how the player moved. And especially with the whole like going up walls, like going from being in air to slopes and very steep slopes. I've solved some mental, like how I'm going to potentially make some of that work. Anyways, but yeah, I think that this player is a lot better than the old one. It has a lot more promise, just be more interesting. Even just like, thing that I implemented that, actually, I think I can just, I don't have to go out of play mode, I can just swap you to, swap you to you, and now you'll follow you instead. Right? No controller. I don't know, I keep forgetting that. If you're moving forward in a direction, like, you kind of reach your top speed very quickly, and then you're just moving. And, like, this is not super exciting ground movement. There gets to be stuff that's more interesting when you have slopes and bumpy surfaces and all that. But this is like, yeah, I'm moving in this direction, and, like, sure. But that other guy, did you see him launch? Wouldn't you like to be... this one, the one that launches. Now, there's a lot more in place with, like, yeah, this momentum. Yeah. When you start moving in a direction, you don't immediately go flying, but the longer you're moving in a direction, you start to gain a lot more speed. And it does eventually cap out, because this will probably then be easier to readjust for a so-called real level. Like, what your top speed is allowed to become, but, because thinking in terms of an actual real level, it's not going to be a big open plane like this. So if you're moving forward, you will likely be now like going around hazards and da-da-da-da-da-da. So like being able to be moving in one direction so long that you reach this max speed is unlikely in a lot of real level scenarios, because you'll be actively dodging hazards and having stuff that's going to make you have to stop and or do quick pivots and all that. Yeah, so there's that. But yeah, and basically it's like yeah, so you keep your speed, like you have this momentum and you're going in a direction. If you turn, you don't lose that momentum. But it is like the more you turn, the more that you lose that momentum, to the point where if you like, yeah, basically if you turn a lot, then you lose all your speed completely on purpose. That's like on purpose. I want, like, if you switch directions, well, there is this currently that if you do switch, like, there's a little bit of inconsistency with it. It isn't perfect. I don't fully know, why it sometimes doesn't do exactly what it's supposed to, but I'm working on it. But yeah, it's better. This has this snappiness that I want it to have, and it's great. And then the speed, the sense of speed is there, and that's great. But also, like, you don't go infinitely fast, and that's not a huge concern. I do think there should be a bit more that I'm still working on, like, if you're moving in a direction and then I let go of the buttons, I probably shouldn't slow to a stop quite that quickly. I mean, it works in the air, just like aerial movement. Yeah, I get height and I get distance and whatnot, but it should probably, yeah, physics is hard. Dealing with the physics of all this and getting it to be good is difficult. So the next kind of bit with this, like with slopes, I do want to introduce the same movement that the same idea that the old player has. Why are you not? Oh, because yeah, WSD. I keep forgetting. For this player, and what's going to work for when we want to actually be able to go up walls and stuff with enough speed, rather than moving right now, the player's moving relative to like a flattened movement in all the directions. I want that if you're on a slope, your like direction that I'm applying the force is like angles with the slope, so that If I'm going up the slope, I'm applying the force up the slope, and if I'm going down the slope, I'm applying the force down the slope. That'll fix, this problem where I'm trying to move down and just leaving the ground. Like, this player already has that fix. It's just a matter of now implementing that same logic into what we got here. So that'll fix that. That'll also mean that when we go up slopes, we'll get even more height from just moving upwards. That should also help with, like, when we get, if we introduce, like, bumpy terrain in here and, like, that kind of stuff. And then eventually, when if we're moving along slopes, I then also want to, right now the player is just always facing up. I want to do, again, the same thing that the old player does, where we angle the player perfectly based on slopes, so that you can then be going sideways, and then eventually upside down with enough speed. Yeah. And part of that might have to then involve turning off gravity, maybe, when we're, like, because I do want to cheat it to a decent degree that, like, allow you to essentially, if you're going fast enough, just like Sonic, you can just basically run, unicycle along a wall, and basically keep going infinitely as long as you are going really fast. I'll have to mess around with, like, the thresholds for stopping. If you're on a wall and you try to do this, what happens? In theory, you shouldn't be able to, like, completely pivot on a wall. Probably not. But slight, corrections, that should be fine. It should be easy to hook onto, because I have, this is a specific, like, bit of thing that we test for and account for, that, like, if the direction that you're moving and then the direction that you try to move, if there's, like, an angle threshold that I think is, like, 60 degrees, then if you pass that, then it has stuff that slows you down and kind of stops your momentum. So, yeah, anyways. So still a lot to do. But yeah, this is coming along cool and has, like, more potential to eventually, have us end with a much better player than we started with. And it'll be cool when this also eventually gives, like, when we get the more of the visual stuff in here, and eventually this comes back to looking like this guy having the unicycle and, like, actually turning in the direction we're moving, the bobbing, the wheels, all that. And then, I still think we're too early to have, like, proper animation, but it'd be cool to, like, eventually get to that point as well, having a proper human character on here. One thing I want to do with the animations that I think has the potential to look really cool if it works and isn't super janky and buggy is that my solution to some stuff I want to do with in midair is that when you're in midair, I want to point the base of the unicycle in the direction of, like, that we're moving. Like, take the velocity, the way that we're moving, have the wheels be going in that direction so that we can, be moving through the air and, like, land on a slope and be directly against that slope. If we're moving in this direction and we hit, like, whatever slope, then we basically should already be kind of angled that way. And ideally, then, yeah, that'd be cool. If we get launched, if something, like, from the environment, like a spring or whatever, launches us up really fast so we're moving upwards, then having the wheel of the unicycle being pointed upwards could then also be good for then, I don't know if this will work and if it's something that we want to happen, but conceptually that it's something that could happen and look really cool, would be cool, is that you go off some kind of spring, a cannon, like whatever, and you're being launched really far, like, up, and then you kind of hit the upside down of a loop, and then you're able to kind of go and, forward upside down and then go downwards, like, from the rest of that loop. Like, that would be cool. Does the physics of that make any sense? Probably no, but it doesn't have to. This doesn't have to be physically accurate, it just has to look cool. So with that, even, like, as I kind of said before, like, if we're moving really fast, I do kind of just want to, I want to at least, like, see what it looks like to basically cheat, and basically, if you're moving fast, you will pretty much stick to whatever surface you're on. I have to be careful not to do that too much, because, like, if this is meant to be a ramp, I want to go fast and launch off of it. I shouldn't be flat here to then flat against here. Like, if I want to ramp off something, it should happen. So it might be so those two ideas seem at odds with each other. I gotta make sure that, like, that it works. That I'm going fast off a ramp, I do launch. But if I want to be sticking to the surface that I'm on, I don't, like, overstick when I should. But this is more for, like, when you're sideways on a wall and, like, upside down, that if you're going fast, then you're good. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, and then what cool movement stuff that we can do with that. And then if this goes really well and we make all these cool movement scenarios, then seeing how that feeds itself into the level design, especially with the the submarine level. That I don't know how much of it will have to be redesigned to fit this stuff. If I go back to it now, over here, yeah, we have all these platforms and all these these obstacles and what they mean and blah blah. I was worried before that is this level going to potentially be too big? If the player physically moves faster, then that shrinks the level a little bit. But in terms of just the distances between these things, I'll have to see how things might have to be adjusted, or even a certain idea written down, how I thought it would be in my head. Now looking at how the player movement is now, how I might have to change things, swap out different ideas. But I'm gonna try not to have to give this level a complete overhaul, because even though, if I'm making this test level, or making the movement, oh, here's all these cool movement scenarios that would be super fun that could happen, I don't have to put all of them in one level. I can save some ideas for other levels, right? So I can, even if there's an idea I think would be super cool, but it doesn't fit in this level, I can just do it in the next level. This demo is going to have 3 levels, so there's, plenty of room for that to happen. Additionally, well, actually, I do think I still want this. This hazard obstacle thing over here, I wanted to also have this magnet wall, which, based differently than just momentum can carry you going sideways. I wanted to have a magnet wall that basically does that to the extreme of you can stop moving on this magnetized surface and you won't fall off. So basically a magnet wall will be it'll behave the same in that you're just moving along surfaces, but basically without the velocity threshold that kicks you off, and then probably also just having to turn off gravity when you're on it as well. And then there should probably be a little bit that helps you stay on it. Because I don't want, if you have a slight bump in the terrain, I don't want that to necessarily knock you off. So I might have a bit of extra, leeway that if you leave the surface slightly, you can be sort of remagnetized to it with some kind of time threshold before it's considered, fully falling off and whatever. Because, as an example, this magnet wall could have, there's, holes in it that if you, kind of go on the non-magnetized parts, then you're not magnetized anymore, and then you fall off. Oh, that gives me a cool idea that, again, I don't know if we do it here, but here's a wall with magnetized little sections, but most of it isn't magnetized. And if you're going fast on the non-magnetized bits, you don't fall off. So you're basically, but then, when you're at the magnetized bits, you're free to fully stop. So let's say there's hazards, obstacle stuff that are swinging back and forth, and you have to time it to go at the right time. So you wait in the magnetized sections and then have to go forward at the right time with your speed to then make it to the next magnetized bit and then stop and then go and stop. That'd be cool. That's a cool idea for an obstacle. Keep that in mind. Hopefully don't forget it. But I don't know if we'd apply that here. I already have stuff written down. I kind of want to try just sticking with what's here, sticking with the script of what I planned a while ago. And we'll see. Some of these I might implement and then be like, oh, that doesn't really work in practice, and then have to swap stuff out for different ideas, or just the same idea implemented differently. But we'll see. I want to just, as a start, honor the stuff I have written here and not just start from scratch. Although there will be, some things here that will work good with the new movement, hopefully, such as around here, I wanted this to be a big, you're inside a cylinder, this glass pipe thing that goes, I believe, from here to here, and it splits off up here and over here, I think. So this whole section being a bunch of glass pipes and stuff. So that has the potential to be if you're going fast enough, you should in theory be able to just keep looping and hopefully that has cool stuff going on. Yeah, anyways, back to the player testing scene over here. So I said that the next thing that I wanted to do on stream was building up more of the this environment. Even though I'm still working on the player behind the scenes, but if I finish making more of this environment stuff I wanted to do on stream, then I can go back to the programming of it. But the next thing that I wanted to just show and to do was, building up more of this environment, making more of these movement sort of scenarios. I don't know if I'll put hazards in here at some point. For now, I wanted to focus on just pure movement, but it is important, because a lot of the point of how certain bits of the player are as they are is to be able to hypothetically weave in and around hazards with some ease. Like, it could still be difficult, but the super snappy movement for doing that. And as the almost pseudo test for that, these like goalposts that were used to just measure kind of the launching across this gap. I was just testing like being able to weave around them in a figure 8. Like that shows that like I have decent enough control of the player to be able to do that and have it not be super difficult. So then if these were hypothetically hazards or stuff moving at you, then yeah, wouldn't be too bad in theory. Okay, so in terms of building this up, I want to kind of honor or like the sort of way that I want to be building the real levels, as I did with these ramps. Rather than the whole thing being one big Blender scene, I wanted to make different parts as their own Blender models, and then throw them in and like assemble them in Unity. Because then hypothetically with the real level, it'll be the same idea, making a bunch of little things environmental things, and then piecing it all together. So this is like practice for that. And then we'll see how many of these I can like almost reuse. Like, oh, I need a ramp that's this size by this size. I don't know if like, yeah, I'll find a better way to need to go. Like, about the actual organization of a lot of these pieces. With this environment, it's a bit tricky because it's like, these are just, ramps and blocks with specific sizes, so they're just kind of being named generically as such. With a so-called real level like the submarine, it's potentially easier to like be like, oh, this is a barrel, but for now it's a placeholder. It's just a cube or a cylinder. This is a table, but placeholder, it's just a big block or whatever. Like right now, I'm just generically being like ramp this size by this size. But then for the real level, I imagine I'll be naming things less generically and more on like, here's the thing, like how it's going to actually be used. Although, potentially might be able to reuse some things in a lot of contexts. That's going to be hopefully the beauty of having a whole bunch of little assets with all like ramps and blocks and whatever, is that I can like, oh, I need a block that's like this size for this thing, drag and drop that one. Now, like, I don't know if that'll mean that I'll want to basically make ramps of every single size. That seems like overkill. Like, be like ramp, like 1 by 1 by 1, 1 by 1 by 2, 1 by 1 by 3. So I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm gonna just, for now, build stuff as I need it, and go from there. Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so example of something that I need. Also, I don't fully know like how I'm gonna place things around. In theory, it shouldn't matter that much. I'm just gonna kind of like build a thing, put it somewhere, and then and let this area kind of flesh out, and then maybe move things around as I deem necessary. But yeah, okay. So first thing to actually make is going to be. Do I want to duplicate one of these to make stuff? I will to start. Will I make a list of every scenario we need? For now, no. Just like off the top of my head, like, oh, I want this, and then build it for like the first couple things. Once I start to run out of things that I know I want in here, then I can start to make more of a list to just kind of, yeah, conceptualize more stuff. And then as we're like building more of the movement and testing things, then I'll be like, oh, this should also be a thing that I test for. But for now, I'm going to focus on just pure movement and not so much like moving things or like hazards and obstacles. And then I might just start to introduce more of those after, such as the idea of like, oh, a spring launching you up into a wall or something like that. Yeah. This, I saw this dot, I'm like, oh, is that something on my screen? But no, this is just part of the, if I move it, that's just part of the random background that's on here. That's funny. Okay, so with enough stalling, the next thing first thing I want to make, I think, is going to be, either bumpy ground, or I need some kind of like slope that goes from being flat to being sideways. It doesn't have to be a full like quarter pipe, like at some point I might make that, but I want to make something that's more like gradual and like curved, and so we'll call this like curved slope or something. I didn't really need to make this by duplicating that Blender object, but well, whatever. Actually, by having done that, now all the like a lot of the initial stuff of like the import settings and the having to leave the camera and light, like that stuff's already done, even if I were to then just delete this object and remake it. So curve slope. basically, and I do have to be conscious of, like, if I want rounded surfaces, like how rounded they are. I'm going to start by basically just, yeah, having a flat thing. I'm going to basically assume that along the red, like along the 0 is the, you know, the ground here, and work off of that. Okay, so I think I effectively, I don't know what some slopes, if I want to make them with like Bezier curves or something, but for now we're just going to do it like this and just, it's okay if stuff is like a little bit blocky and just being like, it's, you know, it's good enough. So first, just having a bit of like a thing to kind of gain some speed, I imagine, kind of get off onto it off of the ground. To slope into a wall, or to, I imagine I'm going to, well, if I can do this and then bevel the surface. I don't know if I want to go, you know, I should do some of these extreme cases first before I try to do some of these more wonky things. Just, well, no. Being indecisive, don't mind me. Yeah, just do this, and then, what, it'd be interesting, okay, as a whole separate thing, it'd be interesting to see, like, because we're going to do some degree of testing, like, the limits of what the player can and can't handle. Something like this that's, like, that harsh of an angle, I don't know what should be expected for the player to do. But I want to just start by having a gradual turn. Try something like that, and then just have you go up a lot so that I can test, like, just big old wall that I can test moving along. So the whole, another piece of this is, if you have enough speed, should you just continue moving up walls forever? I imagine, okay, so that's a tricky question. I mean, I can do it, like, I have choices. I can do it one way or the other. Because thinking of, like, realistic physics, you're moving up, you'll slowly lose speed until you fall and go down. In, like, a Sonic game or whatever, you can run along walls, and, like, you have the speed, you can basically get running around in directions. Like, you can run up as much as you want. The problem with that kind of a thing is how much it could break. If I allow you to, if with enough speed you can climb basically any wall as long as you can get onto it, I don't want the player necessarily climbing up surfaces that I don't want them to climb. I can potentially like cheat and have some surfaces marked as like, you definitely can't climb this because it's slippery. But I don't know how much I want to necessarily be forced to, you know, put that kind of stuff up in a lot of places. Like, I don't know how likely it is for this kind of thing to be broken. Because I think I will still have that, like, if it is still a velocity thing, that if you slow down enough or stop completely, then you'll fall. So you have to be able to keep moving in basically the same direction. So, yeah, we'll try it, and if I notice it having a lot of problems, then I can do something about it. But for now, we'll just... So, okay, this wasn't quite the curved slope that I was thinking. This is actually just more like curved wall. So we'll name it as such. I have to rename the Blender file. I did want to 3D-ify all of these. I can use the skin modifier. Well, no. Like, I can't just be like, oh, just solidify it downwards. I'm gonna do it more properly. I'm gonna take this, put down, go down to the floor. I don't know how much I want to cheat and just go below the floor. Like, I'll go slightly through the floor and then go back over here. Okay. The other, with those slopes, I, like, had in the name some stuff with the distances, or the like the sizes of the walls. I don't know how much I want that here. I'm not saying the things I'm meaning to be saying. I don't know how much I want to have... Yeah, okay. Let me try that again. In here, these names, there's like the 20 by 12 by 12. I don't know how much that's necessary for like this curved wall. I think it's more like I made these separate things and I needed something just to have the differences in the name of the file. So when I make a second curved wall, then I'll name it, like, depending on if I have something else to call it. Yeah. Okay. So just that works, and you know, in practice as we implement stuff, like when I go to actually test this wall, I might quickly find like, oh no, oh wow, that's massive. Like that, be like, oh no, it's way more gigantic than I thought it would be, and that is maybe a problem. But could I have? I wonder if I could have something. Oh no. Hold on. Okay, I mean that's actually kind of cool. It's not, I wanted just the normal like checkerboard, but like that's very cool, and I might keep it that way. So my question is like, okay, is this too big? Let me see how it is relative to the player. Okay, it's big, but it's not like, you know, like I can test thin. Oh wow. Oh, this isn't marked as right. I need this to be marked as environment. Should I just? Wondering if like that's even necessary if I let the default layer just be like, so I don't have to keep doing that for everything. The problem is I don't want like oh wait, did I only do one side? Did I just do this side but I didn't do the other side? No, what? Wait, did I just not save it? Are you the normal's all bad or something? Oh, I know the problem. I know the problem. It's because I renamed the file, but it didn't like rename. Yeah. Very well. I'll just delete you, close you. Nah. Take this, rename it to curved wall, and then it's like yeah. Blah, and then put you on there. I said whoop. Have you be the floor, and environment. I thought I needed to get a curved wall. Yugi. So yeah, not gonna be. Oh, what the? Right, colliders. No. Yeah, just do the generate collider thing. Level assets, curved wall. Why are you not generate colliders? What did I copy that didn't have that? Oh, you have everything that you shouldn't. How about don't? How about cease that? Okay, good, cool. Looking forward to eventually climbing that. So this will be, yeah, a good test for both just slowly going up into a wall, and then, yeah, I can have all that to test. And I can make it a lot longer if I need to. Because then I can also kind of use this as a test to be like, oh, I go up and over and down eventually. So that's not all I wanted. I want to make like, here's a loop-to-loop. Here's like a crazy corkscrew kind of a thing. I want to make like all that just crazy nonsense stuff. So what I'm making next, but I should start with like the more basic things that I know that I want. The curved wall's small because I do want to do some degree of what's effectively limit testing of have this, make it smaller. Yeah. I mean, I could have just scaled down the other one, but I'm deciding. Basically, I want to try to have a more, this kind of thing. Just like a more tight, going from flat to being on the wall. Which, if I'm doing that, oh, I didn't. Whoa. Shouldn't have scaled it on that axis, and that's like close enough to what it was. I could also try, you know what, to test like two things at once, because I don't know if the physics will like it or not. Dissolve. I want to just, well, no. What I want to do is... Oh, dissolve. I was on edges, not... Okay. I was on the... Yeah, dissolve edges. That's all I was going for. I want to try having... this bit. I've also... I'll try having this be more in, and having the the bend here be perfectly with the ground. Nope, give me just these guys. And seeing like going from like the current like flat ground to this, I just want to see if that's gonna work well or not. Yeah, okay. Well, now we got like, okay, now that's weirder. Oh, just like a little bit like that. It doesn't work if this partially goes through the floor like that. So just gotta quickly just cheat it. But be careful with it. And is this flat? Because the wall itself ideally stays being a perfect 90 degrees. You look like you are not, so let's fix that too. If I just made this from scratch, I might have been able to do more with for it to be... No, this is this. Okay. Be more perfect with the calculations, but well. We'll deal with it. This is curved wall, small, but it's more than just small. It's like the other thing, the being more instant or whatever. So I don't know if. Ideally, I kind of just for funsies want to sort of spread out these different things rather than all being in a line. Oh, the origin is way off. Let me just, you know, not have that be how that is. Even just as well, just to kind of, because the back of it's not really important, so I'm just gonna. I guess. Move that forward. I don't know if that should be where the base is or not, but for now it's fine. Yeah, it does the job. And then you did get the settings you were supposed to. Good. And then get the material. Yeah, I don't know if there's something I should be trying to automatically set up just to get like some of that stuff I'm having to do kind of on each object, but it's a bit unavoidable. So I don't know if this will work, but that's what we're gonna be trying to find out. Oh, I don't like how part of it's clipping through, part of it isn't. That's surely just something I messed up of moving like one. Must have moved like one side but not the other or something like that. If you're gonna be sticking through, I'd rather you just be consistent with it. Does that help? The ground isn't, Oh, it's because this took in this weird, like, not being fully 90, because it does that for some reason. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna leave that as is. Okay, that's that bit. Next bit is what? This definitely ain't gonna look pretty, but, yeah, we're gonna... Could even be on a 45 if I really wanted it to be. Okay. Let me just find where I want to be looking over. Where are you? Level assets, that's what I was looking for. Next, I want, I guess, do I just go straight into a loop-to-loop? That is the thing I want. There's some of these bits I could be making by sticking them together. Like, if I have this, if just, like, coming off of here I have whoop, Right, well, with a loop, I can't have it be perfectly flat. It needs to... unless I just make it temporarily, like, just an inverted cylinder kind of idea. Which, wait, hold off. Just have less repeated steps. And close U. Copy anything here to then... so we'll make a... pipe. I guess I'm just going to call it a pipe. Sure. I don't know. I imagine a lot of this will need to be renamed at some point. Basically deleting U and just making from scratch a cylinder that's going to be all inside out. I don't know how many vertices you should have, but probably more than that. And we are going to... I'm still going to make it as if it's, like, resting on the ground. So it's going to be, like, that high up. Have it be pretty long. Just so I can do a lot with it. Before I go any further, how big is this relative to the player? Blah. Oh, okay, that's massive. Which, I mean... works to some degree. We'll go pipe. This will be pipe large, and then I'll, to some degree, want some kind of mini pipe. Go back into it from here. That is massive, though. Okay. And then I just want to... blah. The more depth you have, the less likely that... I'll have wonky physics from the edges, hopefully, but that should be good. Whoa, not like that is what that ain't what I want. Actually, now looking at this though, I do want, like, if you're entering this from the ground, like, here should be where you're entering from it. So I'm almost actually tempted to extrude out. Trying to type in an exact number to get this what I want it to be. Oh, wait. Oh, I was on scale, not on... yeah, okay, you're good. You're good. Are you? No, you're not. You're, hold on. Yeah, that's all I wanted. Okay. That, and then cut out the middle... faces. Nah, not that. Bridge, edge loops, handy function, less manual work to do. Flip the normals. Wait, something's wrong, but why? I think something's wrong with the normals. No, maybe I'm just imagining things. So this isn't rested on the floor like perfectly. I don't know if I. So if I want to enter this well, I get. Well, before I go any further, the beveling is bad. Does I bevel all of it? What happens if I do? So this probably isn't what I want. I'm just curious what it's going to look like over here. Now it is flatter against the ground. I was considering whether I'd have to make like more of a an entryway kind of idea, but maybe not. Maybe not. Or if I really want, I could flatten as it enters, but then it becomes more of a perfect circle on the inside. But this, I think, for now is fine on its own. I don't know how much of a pain it'll be if I want to, mess with a specific section, having to go back and forth, and whatever. But just navigating this massive area. This has to be told that it's environment stuff, I think. But I just want to make sure that I could enter it. The rest is probably fine. Okay, so that's pipe large, and then I want a mini pipe. I can. As long as the thing works, I don't have to... I can mark everything as, I can mark everything as, what am I trying to say? I can mark everything as being, on the environment layer kind of at the end. I'm also the pipe being as generic as it is, I could just scale it down. I don't need to have, like, everything be... Just rename this to pipe, and then it being as dense as it is with, like, vertices is good for the angle. Especially for this, like, test environment. It's not the biggest deal. Let's go here, and then go, like, a 0.1. Be much tinier. Just, yeah. Everything's very, like, in one direction. I don't know if I, just for fun. Let me see what the size that is relative to the player. Cause, see, like, that's too small. I'm not expecting the player to be able to, that'd be kind of cool to, like, in this. I'm, as far as the limits of, what the player is going to be capable of, I don't expect that to be, like, yeah. But then, once we have, like, the things that I actually want the player to be able to handle good, then I can test such a scenario and see what happens. So, okay. I think, okay, that's... So I think that's, like, the smallest. And this is pipe large. And, yeah, while we're here, we'll make a more, like, medium one that is, I don't know, not that small. Let's go point. I can scale these on the different axes differently. I can try that. And move this slightly further away. Okay. Now is that the size that I want that to be? Even this is slightly... I want to test with one that is smaller. Even that, I think even smaller than that. Sure. Try those. This is what that will be to mess with. Okay. I could have these on like 45 degrees, but I probably just like to make some of this testing easier, dealing with things on the perfect angles might be less likely to break horrifically, but you know what? I'll take this wall and I'll turn that on 90. Next, I want a loop-de-loop. Well, yes, I do want to have an actual, like, you go in, you go up and around, and then Sonic style. Do I want to start with the pipe? How am I gonna, like, physically build this? Because then this isn't just something going in one direction. I have an idea. I don't know if I'll use the pipe, but I'm gonna use it to start. Just loop. A loop is different than a pipe because, yeah. I think I'll start by deleting it and start with maybe just a circle. And again, we're gonna kind of assume that it's like off the ground. Be, let's say, that big. Can I then delete you and then take you, put you on, and effectively just do it's a version of this where it's looking at only connected stuff. Yeah. I'll try to have this be somewhat consistent. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the more perfect it is, the better. So that's like a loop shape, and then I need... Oh, that's a whole separate thing. Is like, you know, we have like the perfect stuff, the perfect loops, the perfect whatever, and then we have stuff on funky angles, and that can be a whole other story. But I'll say this. I do want this. This probably like should be, you know, slightly off the ground to some degree. I don't know. Slightly off. Just be there, and then just go in the way that I want you to. And then you can be the same thing. And then in a second that I can extrude all this out to be like platforms. But I kind of want to wait until I make sure that the shape is defined exactly how I want it to be. So as I said 2 seconds ago, I think this should be slightly off the ground. Make it a Ferris wheel at this point. So, but have some flatness going into it, slightly off the ground. So do something like that. Bevel this just a tiny bit, maybe. And then do basically the same thing on this side. Attempt to just like, oh, make a fun shape, or like does this, and you go in a loop and then launch off because fun. But part of me is thinking that like, you know, just do the tests properly. Like just have just the one thing. But more fun to whatever. Actually, I do probably want to be able to enter for both sides. That would be smart to just be able to go back and forth as I'm testing this eventually. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just kind of make that better. Why does this just seem like I did the one side a lot better? I don't remember. It's fine. It's probably fine. Okay. It's probably like close enough. Blah. Okay, so that's not one. So I want to start with something like this. And I don't know if the way that these are clipping are going to be good. I mean, being able to also with the loop being like, cheat the loop and go here and here can also be a thing. I can just see like how does the physics behave with that. But then do I want to basically take this and go extrude and then out? Whoa. Before I do it, that oh, the normals behave better. That be the inside, and then extrude and try just scaling out and just oh boy. I'm fine with the outside being that funky. Now I don't know if there's enough vertices going around on the inside, so I might have to maybe should have made the circle with more stuff, but ooh. Okay, I just wanted to see what this would do because I was curious. Having like I don't know how that would behave. Having the loop being that like curving on the top, probably like it's probably not what I want. I was just curious to see. I think I do basically need to go something like. And then, how do I just go get the edges? Oh, there's a way to be like, get the edges in like a path like that, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I got the button right first try, yeah. And yeah, I'm fine with it, I guess, getting the inside of the loop as well. Okay, it's not gonna quite do what I want it to. But you know what? This is just like a test thing. As long as it works, it's good. There's probably a better way to have done that. I basically want to just take, like, here's this rounded shape. Make it, like, more. Well, then, wait, why did I bevel and not just subdivide? Close enough. But, like, you didn't subdivide what I wanted you to subdivide, I think. Unless if let me just try that again. If I subdivide like this, is it gonna do what I want? Not quite. Should I have subdivided before I had extruded it out? Possibly. Maybe if I do just to try things, just because to remember how to blender. I like how that does successfully like do the whole loop as I want it to. Yeah, there we go. And okay, then it can just do the inside, not the outside. It should be pretty smooth. Yeah, it matters for it to be quite smooth. The normals are inside out. No, they don't look it. Pretty good. Try this out. You should be good with the ground. Good-ish. I like that's, yeah. Well... Yeah, yeah. Oh, because the origin was there. Yeah, I will quickly go... cursor is, yeah, just do that. And also, you know, apply the scale while I'm here. Because, yeah. Okay. So that's a thing. This is a thing that now exists. I'm gonna get the material. Oh, right, you're not gonna... Yeah, let me just quickly go like... Just bleh, and then you, and then just do a smart UV project, have it be decent enough. Perfect. Green hill zone, here we come. Okay, so obviously not gonna work now because it's not even like at all ready. I'm worried, looking at it immediately, that I've made it too thin. Nope, not that way. I want to make that way, just thicker, not flying off mid-loop. I also don't really need... like, out here doesn't need to be, like, stretching as much from this as it currently is. That's just because of the way the stretching kind of worked. And they do clip through here a little bit. I don't know how much I care about that. It's an easy, quick way I can handle this. Because it is like, the more it goes up, it, like, fixes itself. Let me just try something. If it doesn't work, then so be it. Doesn't quite... Well, that flattens this relatively, but then if I then take the whole thing and... Well, no, of course, that makes sense. Never mind. How do you do that? I don't know. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine as it is. Just it's yeah. If I want, I can then apply the scale and then do a UV project again after having scaled it. That'll just affect how the cubes are. Make it still be grid-like. I guess I can still, yeah, and get onto it like that. Yeah, sure, okay. We have a loop, and I can... This, I can make different versions. Like, if I want to test a small loop versus a gigantic loop, I can just scale this up. That should be fine. Okay, so we have a loop of some kind. What else? I was hoping to have, like, really big, like, lots of things. This is kind of, because everything's just kind of all over. There's not so much of, like, a cool, like, path through all this. It'd be cool if it... Eventually, I did have more of that set up. Like, I actually have, like a whole, like, you know, circuit that I can, like, go through a bunch of things. But, that will potentially make it hard to test specific stuff. Okay. Next thing I should do is just some bumpy terrain. Just to see how that behaves. Where is... I'm looking for little assets. Every time it's hard to find. I don't think I'll use any of these, but I'm just gonna, yeah. I'll just bomb. And basically, just going to do this. Not have these guys at all. Just have well, okay, actually, I was gonna have basically just a bunch of, like... I want to make what I have in mind. Start with, like, a... sphere. Take off the bottom. And then have it be, like... Nah, that's not quite, I mean, like, almost. I basically just wanted, yeah, this kind of like, just, well, not quite like that, though. Something along those lines. Yeah, that's, like, good enough. But, one object that's just, like... I know I said I'd, like, place this stuff around in Unity. I think for... this just being, like, a bumpy patch, I'll, this will be... Let's do this in Blender, but then... Yeah, we'll see. Bumpy... It's, like, close to what I had in mind. Not, like, completely, but it's, like, yeah, it's good enough, and... Yeah. How big is that relative to the player? That seems too big for what I had in mind. Well... Like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see, like, what... Yeah. In theory, we shouldn't be launching off the same degree that we just were 2 seconds ago. Although, yeah, needs to be on the environment layer. Give this the material. Yeah, you can stay looking like that, sure. I guess that's fine. Next. Like, some of these are easier to make, and others are like, I don't know. Like, I kind of want a road that just kind of like, whoosh, like goes like a 40, like it curves and like curves up and over. And I guess if I want to make a path like that, I do it similar to how I made the similar to how I made the loop. Well, I'll copy this, but I'm not going to use it. Go. Just this is going to be curved slope. Okay. Not using this. Start with basically a single vertex. I'm going to try something similar to, yeah. Basically having this, making a kind of a path and then just extruding over is basically what I want. So I want, define like, do it very like broadly and then do a bunch of beveling. So if this is like where it's, yeah, kind of starting with the ground, have it basically go like, well, very broadly, it's just, I can press the right buttons, and up and over. Big ol' to being like, it'll be completely like flat and on a wall, and then maybe eventually then it'll kind of like, whoa. And then be back on the ground. Smooth some of this out for now. So this is not like, obviously this isn't anything yet. I am now realizing that, well, to actually curve it's gonna be tricky. Could do this with like the path thing, but I'm already too far into. Let me just try. If I did this, yeah, no, this isn't gonna. Right, no, of course not. Well, maybe I should not do it quite this way. I'm instead starting with the plane that even like this first initial shape looks bad. Just, yeah, start over. Try this again. Oh, wow, I've, yeah, zoomed out a lot for, like, just the sense of scale for that to have been that far. Rename this to... I mean, do I just want, well... Basically... So what, like... I'm basically making this like a car track kind of thing that's like going around and curved, which means I should really just be... The more I'm doing this, the more I'm like, just I mean, this is like kind of roughly working, but for a thing in like a real level, I would probably end up making this kind of thing a path. But for now, we're just gonna do this and just cheat it, just to get it done. Oh no, wrong buttons. I do want to then rotate this back into being just. Okay. Right, just that kind of idea. But then subdivide this a whole lot. Let it smooth itself out. I was expecting you to smooth so much more than you currently are. I just don't need the extra vertices in the middle. Well, okay, here's what we're gonna do. This is all edges. Wah, wah. Well, that's not quite what I keep the beyond edges. I just want to get rid of these. There you go. Now I have a lot of edges. I just go. Not that. What's why am I forgetting how to? This guy. Smooth it out. You're just losing the how long you are. Okay, this isn't quite going how I was hoping that it would, frankly. Yeah. Because even how, yeah, because I can't just like pull it up. What's the scale of this in? Let me just double check. This is massive, isn't it? Or tiny, tiny and massive. Problem with doing this with a curve is that like then it's like uniform the whole way across. If I want to be like make this part thicker and like I don't know, but maybe it would be better if I just did this with a path and did it properly. So I just of the different like Bezier curves, usually with this kind of thing I like to use the one that's literally called a path. I just find it works better for my purposes. And yeah, I know these I can attach roll to and stuff like that. Okay. This. So geometry wise, well, but then in this scene, then I'd be going and making like the mesh for it to use, which is basically just going to be a little box. This is my road. Let's call it road, whatever. That's fine. This is going to be in every like copy of this thing. Well, in theory, if I was doing this kind of thing, I would like potentially like bake it into a mesh, especially if I then got to the point of like texturing it and like whatnot. But so do this object. Oh, not that. Ooh, why am I forgetting how to do any of this? There is a way to... no, it's like this and like array and curve. Not cast, curve. Why am I not seeing curve? Yeah, there you go. Curve object being the path, and then fit curve, that one. You actually do need the same position, and you can stop having any of that going on. Okay. Yeah, that's way better and looks nicer, and like, if I then wanted to make modifications after this, then like this is just at least a better starting point. Let me just delete that. Like, I'm good. So I'll go back to this calling this curved slope path. Then I want to actually rotate stuff, and then I could make more points. Just I usually like to just put as few points as possible to find the basic shape that I want, and then kind of go from there. So actually this, I might kind of help this be more flat. Same with over here, because I want it to properly just get to the ground. Going slightly under the ground, though, is good. Yeah, in terms of the actual this thing, you could... Oh, you're going along that axis, I guess. That's fine. By being thinner, it makes more copies, and then that's good. To have less unnecessary faces that it's making, usually I delete there's the faces there. Then sometimes you might have an extra end cap thing on top of it. But that's fine. It's currently fine as it is. Yeah, okay. So now I have to remember how to... So with the path itself, how to tilt. Yeah. Okay, so basically I want this to then be basically a... It doesn't actually have to be a perfect 45, but like just close-ish to it. Not 45, like flat 90-degree wall kind of for a bit. It's also actually just because to actually like use to go along this thing, this should be just a lot thicker. Try something like that, I guess. Before I mess more with the like the size and stuff, get that how it's looking in Blender. Does this get any kind of... Oh, you're also inside out for some reason. Well, I know why. The reason is that this bit's inside out. Let's not have that. Are you still? No. I think you're good now. So, okay, like the size of that's all messed up. It's fine. Actually, well, let me just go smart UV project when you're in that shape. Then maybe it'll kind of just look at least a little bit better. Oh, that's technically better. Sure, we're gonna go with it. Now in terms of where I'm placing it, I keep placing stuff far and apart. I kind of like the idea of letting it be all super condensed. Just, it's cool. This can be... And this stuff can be on, like, yeah, on an angle. Okay, so... This isn't flat for as long as I would have liked it to be. I'd like it to... have the path, like, do this, but then... may I accomplish that by actually getting this to be perfectly flat for a bit? I can define stuff with, like, the weight. Oh, right. I forgot that I can make different bits have different radiuses. Yes. I think I need different, I just need more points. Yeah, this does get harder to, like, define, though. If I did just making all of these 90, will you... I'm going to say behave better, but I guess not. I mean, it'd be cool to just see, like, oh, this goes slightly upside down. Does it handle that good? But it's also not quite what I wanted to be testing. Wait, where'd you get... You got different tilt. Is turning one thing tilting another? Are you not? Weird. Still not, like, flat, though. But yeah, oh well, I can fake it. Because, I mean, well, to some degree, like, there might be some times where I want to be like, okay, this is a flat wall because it's, like, part of a building and stuff. Sometimes a little bit of these, like, imperfections is good for game stuff. Oh, so it would, also, I guess also, yeah, just having more points here. What happens if I basically go... Oh, right, adjusting, I think, adjusting the tilt there doesn't do it on everything. Yeah. If I want to be consistently making paths like this, I'm definitely going to have to kind of catch up and remind myself how to do that. Oh, I mean, this is very flat. Okay, so like that kind of worked. It just... Oh. It depends on the thing before it, because then, yeah, okay. It would be interesting to have, like, oh, this goes up and down. Like, oh, how does it, you know, handle that? If I... dissolve. Dissolve this as well. Nah, just, yeah, messing around. It's like, where does this need to be for this to kind of turn properly? Yeah, weird. Weird that there's definitely, like, probably stuff with math of how this is supposed to work. Usually when I've done this kind of stuff with pipes, I haven't had to, like, turn stuff that much. And if I have, it's been, like, on the ground. But, like, yeah, because, well, this is getting, like, a better, like, oh, it's a, you know, a better path that I can mess with. Let's have it, you know, it's like curve as well. It doesn't have to be fully. I think even this should already, it should already be kind of tilting as it's kind of going up. He looks so close to being that kind of flat 90, but no. Even this, I don't know if I want this necessarily to be completely flat, but let's mess with the radius a bit. Just have more to work with, and, you know, be weird and wavy and stuff. I don't know, just messing with things. Do I care about the thickness of this for now? No. So even here, it should already be starting to kind of tilt a little bit. It'd be interesting to also test, like, just, yeah, I don't know, stuff like that. You're still curving ever so slightly down. I'd rather for this test, you'd be curving slightly up rather than slightly down. Yeah. Definitely seems like, yeah, this takes a little bit of fiddling, but look at that. You're very slightly almost hitting that. Would be kind of cool if this is on such an angle that, like, I don't know, you could launch off the wall and then, like, land on this and just kind of go with it. But for now, yeah. Oh, this is, I don't want to mess with this ramp necessarily, so I do kind of need to move this over for the sake of that the ramp still works. Okay, we're not even on the ground. I did move that, like, one that was kind of near the start. I think, yeah, I can cheat these and have them go through the floor. But then use this to kind of flatten this bit. And that's making the walls turn again. Oh wait, wow, those, okay, hold on. Moving through the ground too much. Okay, how about now? But I don't want, like, as soon as the ground hits the slope, I don't want it to be too steep immediately, but that's pretty good. This will kind of be a test on its own, with just how... This is not perfect. It's, like, slightly... Yeah, that'll be its own test that, like, can this handle that? We'll see. Now, the problem with the way that I've now made this slope, it only goes in one way. I can't, double check. I can't say, like, oh, if I wanted, like, another branching path that goes upwards. That can't really, yeah, it does not like that. Unless it was, like, its own, if I just, what do I mess with? If I just, real quick, went like, oh. What? That's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to basically just make it a separate path. If I go like duplicate, doesn't like that. Okay, well then duplicating the same thing hypothetically. If I really wanted to have, like, here's just a path that, like, comes out the top, can I do that? Go back to just being small. Yeah, big problem here is that, like, it's not going to effortlessly attach. So, if I want it, I mean, like, I don't know, like, practically how this kind of shape works would work with, like, in a real game. It's hard to, like, conceptualize some of this stuff with, like, oh, here's how it is in a test level versus, you know, in a real level, this being like, yeah, the side of a building or just like a rocky wall or whatever. It's hard to, yeah, conceptualize some stuff with that. So, like, hard to say right now in terms of, like, if I'm going to be making this kind of weird, like, wall thing, like, oh, wait, why did you seem to lose all bendiness? What? This isn't doing that. Doesn't seem like it is. No, you're being super bendy. Who gives? I'm assuming it's some button that I pressed that I didn't need to. I'll just try, like, going it again. Yeah. Hey. Was it the act of having deleted stuff? No, you're still fine. Definitely, like, pressing a lot of wrong buttons, so it's probably just that I pressed something I didn't mean to. Okay. Basically, I just wanted to try having, well, you're gonna go this way. Having a thing that comes off the top here, just curves into maybe being just fully upside down for a bit. Okay. Not, yeah, it's like, it's like, of these potential approaches to this slope idea, there's definitely, like, certain pros and cons and drawbacks to different ways I could go about this. So this is the kind of thing that I will be having to figure out if I, like, for real levels. But I feel like, well, to some degree, I can do more Googling and research and whatever, but, ooh. Well, let me put these back at, yeah, 0. I'm doing some degree of, like, Googling and research and all that, but then there's also a degree to which I can be, it'd be easier to conceptualize when this isn't just a test. I'm actually being like, yeah, as I said, this is a building, so everything needs to be all like perfect and rigid and whatever. Versus this is a rocky wall, so like it being more like naturey versus mechanical, and or this is like, oh, for the sake of the circus, this is a like a this is all like just wood and it's like built to be this structure, and like there's different kind of considerations. Also, I'm trying to like build this basically as fast as I can without a whole lot of concern. And yeah, it's gonna move all the way back to the ground. Why not? This is a complicated thing, and I don't know if this bit should be its own thing, but I mean, I wonder if there's some degree which I could try to cheat and like I have this. Has that gone through the floor yet? It barely has. I might go have you be slightly through the floor, but then have you guys be slightly up. Just make sure the loop completes before it goes down. Just for fun, let's also just blend like increase it with you. Just to be cool. Okay. What I could then also do, well, I can't do these, but if just doing like a remesh thing with these could potentially help stuff, but well, because this is like open here, I don't know how that would work. But like, there's potential options if I want to be like, here's the conceptual thing, and then I later smooth it out. The problem more is with that's really big. During this like testing phase, if I want to really quick, just be like, here's a slope that does this very quick path. Yeah, it gets to be tricky. Oh. Turn the whole thing, just not be intersecting with that. Okay. Is over here. You're still clipping through the ground anyway. No, I thought I specifically was getting you to not do that. So this is, but this isn't. So something got off. Oh, I thought here you look like you are going below the line. So what gives? Whatever, I'll like not saying I care super a lot right now, so I'll just cheat it, and it can be a problem for another time. There you go. So that, like a whole separate thing is like, is this so big? Like, can the player conceivably make this? That's not even like a perfect like loop. Yeah, these are the questions that I'm gonna have to be answering for myself. Is yeah, how the movement's gonna handle all of this. Oh, it's not on the environment layer, but like in theory, like it would be cool if, like, if you're going fast enough, you just kind of go up and over and around. I do gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with the camera, because that's a whole thing. So either I leave the camera being like as it is, where even if you're upside down, the camera's still normal, and like hopefully it's fine, but I don't know how that's gonna play with when you're like fully upside down, like the visibility of that. I mean, as long as you're looking up from below, then like maybe you can see. Maybe I have to like, I'll have to do more to have the camera go like down, like how, like, because the camera has this like sort of offset height of like, it's not zooming in on the black part of the wheel, it's zooming in kind of on like above the player a little bit. If the player's upside down, I might then need to kind of invert that. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, this currently ain't gonna work because we're missing all of. I don't have stuff set up for slopes, or even just the being off the ground in general. That's still stuff that's in progress. So I was saying, so either I can have. It's kind of up to the user to. I'm going around, gotta like turn the camera around so that I can see, and I go up and over, and then whatever. Opening the upside down, the camera isn't like clipping into stuff, and that you can see. Or I like angle the camera based on like the slope that you're on as well. So when you're sideways, the camera's actually like fully sideways, and when you're upside down, then the camera's fully upside down. Like, that's also an option. I don't know if, like, one will be, like, too, like, motion sicky or, like, you know, would be too disorienting to tell what's going on. I think, like, that's a thing where I'm going to kind of wait and, like, focus on the movement part of it first, leave the camera just as it currently is, and then I can mess around with, I could try both of those options and then see what works and what doesn't. But yeah, this is conceivably cool. The only part I'm not loving is, like, where those connect. Yeah, if I want, like, here's a thing, but then also a thing coming off of that needs more to get that happen. But there's potential workarounds. Like, if this was all, like, if I decide, like, okay, I finalize this is what this is going to look like, and then I convert stuff to objects and then actually just physically combine that stuff, have it be perfect, then, yeah, those are potential workarounds and stuff. But, yeah, like, we'll see. Okay, it's 12:44. Ooh, really going for an hour, 40 minutes, but there was also all that technical difficulties at the start that made it longer. Like, okay, so I mean, like, is there more stuff I wanted to make? This isn't as, like, elegant as I was maybe hoping it would be. I was hoping that, like, you have, like, when you have games that have test environments, like Super Mario Sunshine is an example. I mean, I did try to haphazardly throw this together as fast as possible, and I feel like with this, you have, like, I don't know, this still feels more, like, put together, more clean and logical a little bit than, well, my current thing. But also, this has, like, all of the mechanics of the game, and, like, perfectly measured, like, because with it being a platformer, more stuff in place of, like, oh, the player jumped this high and whatever, and, like, can jump a gap this wide, and, like, having that kind of stuff for that. But, so this, like, matters more. This isn't, like, the same degree. Like, this is just weird, wonky movement stuff. And to some degree testing, like, yeah, if this is wibbly wobbly, does it still work? And also, yeah, I was trying to build this as fast as possible rather than actually necessarily, like, putting, like, every ounce into making it all perfectly measured and perfectly looking good and the textures being proper, so whatever. This is just a means to an end of making the movement that I want, and this is just a test thing, and this won't be in the final thing or anything like that, but it's kind of, yeah, building blocks towards that. So, do I have enough things for now? I don't know. I do. So something that was kind of like from, like, the old kind of movement test level. That if you go up a half pipe, then, like, if I make it up off the top, can I then, like, go up and over and land on top? Like, that's the whole thing. I never made, like, do I want to make, like, skateboarding, like, style quarter pipe kind of thing? Yeah, sure, why not? Or, like, so, like, again, this isn't a full-on skateboarding game or whatever, but I'm deciding. In terms of, like, ramps and stuff, I didn't really make, I guess I'd make more, like, steep ramps and whatnot. I mean, I don't know how much I want to be, like, making every single conceivable, like, make a 30-degree ramp, make a 10-degree ramp, make a 45-degree ramp, make a 60-degree ramp, or whatever. I mean, this is my, like, movement playground or whatever, but there's a point where, like, maybe it's too redundant, and there's some stuff where it's like, okay, if it's working here, it's gonna work, like, for a lot of these other scenarios, and I don't need to build everything out, because then I'll be doing more of that in so-called real levels. But yeah, I got, like, because there's a lot of these that can be used for different purposes when I'm testing stuff. I got the pipes that, like, these will conceivably be able to test, like, a lot to do with just the constant, like, moving up and around and upside down and the falling and all that. This is just a way more, like, complicated application of it. This is, like, just moving up a flat wall, and, like, this would basically be all I need for, like, going up, over, and down. This kind of fulfills the same purposes: up, over, down. When did you get so far off the ground? Are you rotated or something? You are! Oh, that's why you're weird. You're rotated on, like, not the axis I thought you were. Okay, that clears up some stuff, with why that was a little weird with this going through the floor. Oh, which is why I'm now going to then move it back up. I'll leave those the same. Are you? Wait, you're still... Okay. I'll make sure that I can see... Yeah, if you go through the floor slightly... Also, right now I can be getting away with... yeah, go through the floor slightly, because you can't see the floor. In a real level, I might not be able to do that to the same degree. It might just not, work so well if I'm going to eventually, be on the other side of that floor. But, again, this is all test stuff. It doesn't matter that much. When I'm making real things, then I'll care a lot more. But yeah, figuring out the degree of, like, how much... Like, when I have a whole level, and I want to be like, I want to make the different chunks of level as different Blender, like, these level assets, and then drag them in and position them. Hard to say, like, how small does that get? Like, if I want a whole cliff face, am I making most of that as, like, big chunks of it? Or am I making, like, I mean, the super extreme version, like, the super extreme version of that would be like, I'm making each individual rock and then placing it all up and around, and that's, like, overkill. So it's, like, where do I draw the line between how much I make for like one Blender file versus, doing like having one Blender file being a bunch of objects that I then drag and drop in Unity. Like I'm not sure yet. I'm sure that's kind of like something we have to sort of trial and error, like as I'm building stuff, and it'll probably change. You can change a bit depending on the level, whether I'm building something that's more like natural, like a cliff face, versus something that's more man-made, like a building. Like that's gonna have effects on that. This first level that I'm making is a submarine, where you're on the inside of the submarine. Although I'd like to still have like the, make it. I'm gonna make the outside of the submarine and make that work. But imagine to some degree like there's gonna be like, some degree of, lots of like metal planks, metal stuff that makes up all the walls and the floors and all that, and things that can be like bent and crooked and whatnot. And then like glass pipes that you're like going around inside, and all that. Yeah, we'll see. The submarine is going to be massive, like so massive that it's in theory not going to be all one Blender file, and it shouldn't be, because there's going from this where it's just terrain to real actual level where lots of things that are moving around, having all like the hazards in place, and just mainly just things that move. Or especially move not by animation, but move by code. Like, I have a hazard that's, like, going back and forth and stuff like that. Because of, like, that kind of stuff, that all needs to be placed and positioned manually. Like, in Unity, if I have all these stuff as individually placed game objects, it's now way easier for me to be like, oh, I want to, from testing stuff in mid-running through the level, like, try moving this over, this, like, angling it slightly. Easier to do that here than having to make the change in Blender and then save it, and then like every single time. But then there's a little bit that I lose. It's like, oh, if I want this loop to like have a little thing jutting out or changing the size of everything, that also gets more difficult. Especially if I, as I reuse assets between levels. Although that's the other thing. If I like, have an asset for a table, be able to potentially reuse that, in different levels. Like that's, yeah. But Anyways, all stuff that I'll be figuring out in due time. I'm sure I could continue making more of this. I did kind of think I would be making a lot more, but this, like, I don't know how much I necessarily want to go so overkill with this. Like, I'm not building like a whole like arena thing. Maybe I mean, it's also hard to say because a lot of this isn't functional. I'm building all this stuff to then now test things when, most of it doesn't work, and now, like, that's what I'm going to be doing next. So I don't know, maybe after, like, the player is more functional and working with all the stuff in this environment, then I make more of, like, maybe I make a little bit of a test course that has a kind of point A, point B, and I'm going through a bunch of this stuff. But, like, I don't know if that's also a waste of time, maybe that those efforts would be better spent on just starting to make the test level, like the actual submarine thing, and just working straight into that. I don't know. You're gonna see. So right now this is also movement stuff. I have like the tight ropes that should probably be in here to some degree. We'll see. The rides and repairing stuff, getting like making sure that all works with the movement. That should maybe I should put some of these in here, because then also there's the whole thing of like if I'm mid upside down, how do I treat that? I imagine you're not going to be repairing stuff upside down. Like you come to a complete stop to repair stuff, so I imagine you're expected to, maybe you can be on a little bit of a slope, but like you shouldn't be completely sideways to be doing that, with the exception of the magnet walls. Well, you can come to a complete stop, but that's that being other separate stuff that we need to make. That might also be a part of this environment, perhaps. So a whole lot to do to get the movement that I want to be the way that I want it to be, and yeah, it'll be a while till we're back. Actually, I guess properly working on the submarine level. But this is important. By really hammering this down like now, be less to have to redo later in terms of I modify stuff with the movement and like, okay, now, you know, the gaps I have to like remeasure and like all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, should be fine overall. Like should be like by doing this like now, then we get there, it should be fine to not have to redo a whole bunch of stuff. Or if I do, it's like minor things. But yeah. Anywho, how much further am I going to go? It is about 1 o'clock. I can't stay up too late because I do gotta, I got stuff to do tomorrow. But then tomorrow night, I imagine I'll be doing more streaming stuff. I think, yeah, for now, like, yeah, I did think I wanted to, the point of this stream is just, yeah, building more of this environment. And yeah, stuff looks decent. Definitely will probably be easier to identify more things that I want to make as I need to for the sake of as I'm coding things, and then need more like edge case scenarios that I'll sprinkle around and whatnot. But yeah, we'll see. I also like this isn't an actual like level thing, because it's just, you know, I made random things, place them around. If I wanted to make more of an actual like course to go around, I'd want to do more planning of that initially. But it'll be easier to do that planning when the player is actually functional, because it's totally also possible that as I'm making some of this, my ideas might change slightly. I might find more, yeah, edge case scenarios of things that work or don't work or like whatever. My ability to actually code the player to handle all these scenarios it also comes into question. Oh, before I forget to, I do just want to, yeah, environment, make sure everything under here is in the environment layer. Cool. But yeah, up to a decent start with just the movement stuff. The next thing I'm doing is just dealing with slopes to then have that gear towards the going on walls and whatnot, and hopefully that goes well. Yeah, I am also getting tired. I was up late yesterday just getting all of this functional, and I had to wake up early today, so yeah, probably better I end things soon-ish. I have a quick peek at, I do have 4 people, so I can actually raid someone for once. Hey, Zerver, I see, let's see from that you're in chat, but you're also streaming. So you know what, we're gonna raid you, because the first time, you know, usually what my go-to to raid someone is, well, someone who's, well, doing Unity stuff, or just anyone in the software and game development category. I try to look for people like, well, yeah, anyone that I know is streamer or whatever, but that very, very rarely happens. So usually I just find someone random and it's like, good enough. Here we go. But no, yeah, I guess I'll, yeah. Zvura, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Okay, so is there anything else that I want to say? I've already, yeah, repeated myself, as I always do, repeating myself a million times over the course of a stream. But yeah, coming along well. Still has a lot of work to go, but I think we will come out the other side better than where we started with, yeah, the player over here. I'm looking forward to, yeah, how this develops, how it, like, it'll be very cool once we get to the point of this being all completely functional, and, yeah, then I'm looking forward to, yeah, be able to get back to the actual, like, making the test level that we were, the whole submarine thing, and the hazard, like, getting from this to actual gameplay stuff will be very, very cool. And yeah, Got like a mountain to climb with this player stuff to get over that to then be able to get back to working on that stuff. But yeah, hopefully that goes well. Anyways, we'll raise things up here to end things off. Yaha. So I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know what time. Hard to say. Hopefully the day after that as well. Yeah, continue. One thing that's tricky in terms of finding time to stream is that I'm also now like doing some stuff for the stream that I'm doing off stream. Like, well, there's some degree of like the me working on this movement and stuff, and having to do more Googling and research with that. And also my video that I still haven't finished. That I still need to do stuff with that, but I'm finding the time to juggle doing all those things. But I'll figure it out. Anyways, we're going to go /raid. Not rain, raid. Spell name correctly. Yes. Okay. All right. Stop. Yo. And this. Okay. All right. Yeah. Before I press the button. Yeah. All right. Do an outro now. Yeah. All right. So yeah. I thought there's something else I was gonna say, but whatever. It's fine. I'll remember it and as soon as I end the stream. But anyways, yeah. Player stuff still developing. It will be cool once it's done. So, anyways, that'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around.